What is up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Junior Ray Frederick. Guys, if you're just tuning in, put some flames in the chat. We have an amazing show for you today. So if you just come in, I want you to put some flames in the chat and also let us know, where are you listening in from? Where are you listening in from? I'm about to bring Shaan on, but before we do that, let me know. I heard it's December. Is it cold in your area right now? Is it cold? As usual, it is a lovely day in the 758. 758, 75 great. Mr. Rise, are you there?
I most definitely am.
Okay,
I most
okay.
definitely am. Yes,
Hold
sir.
on, hold
Now
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. So
we
you
about to have
are,
some fun.
yes, we are. Check this out. What is going on in the back there?
Okay, so I am not in the 758, 75 grade or whatever that is, right? But I'm
Uh-huh.
listening to you week after week after week talk about the sun and the fun and the beach and the mangoes in the back. I said, you know what? Let me shake it up a little bit. Let me take the breakfast with the brand on the road. And let me let this guy know how we do things over here. So I
Okay.
am at an undisclosed location. We are in the Americas, right?
Yes, sir.
But it's not snowing, right? So it is December. It is December, almost January, and it's not snowing, guys. So let me tell you guys something about this executive coaching life, right? As a coach, there is absolutely no limitation on your location, right? Let that be the first thing you write down. As a coach, there is no limitation on your location. No limitation on your location. Let's grow. Let's get it. Yeah, I heard too much about the fun in the sun. I said, you know what, man, this guy's having a lot of fun on this call.
Guys,
I'm
listen to
stuck,
this.
cooped
Listen
up
to
in the
this.
office. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah,
Yes,
nah,
sir.
nah, nah, nah. We're gonna change that. We're gonna
Wow,
shift that.
wow, wow, wow. Guys, listen to this. Listen to this. So he heard about the 758. You heard about the sea, the sun, the fun, and he went out to the sun. So where does it? I don't understand. I thought it snowed. Now, just to let you know, I've never experienced the snow. I have no idea what it's like, but I thought it snowed. Isn't it December in the US?
It is.
Doesn't it
It
snow?
is. Yes, yes, it does snow, and in a lot of different places, it is snowing. But as you can see here, there is absolutely
Oh wow.
no snow.
Is that
Yeah.
is that is that boats in the back of
Yeah,
you?
there's boats in the background. Yeah, definitely. See the gentleman cleaning
Yeah, cleaning up the
that's what we
pool.
do. Yeah, yeah, bro. This is the warm one, right? So when we get done,
Wow.
I'm probably gonna jump in the hot tub and all that good stuff.
That looks absolutely phenomenal, Shan.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that, that's that's very inspirational, right? I remember you saying some time ago, during Branded Like a Leader, that we could, in fact, coaching like a leader, that this is a coach from anywhere business,
yes,
coach
sir.
from anywhere business. So it's very interesting to see that. It
If
makes
you
me
have
feel like I should have
Wi-Fi,
been by the beach today.
hey, listen. If you have Wi-Fi, you can be transformational. If you got Wi-Fi, you could be great. Like you could be great. You could be phenomenal. All you need is Wi-Fi. That's it. All you need is a band with one bar. Like all you need is one bar. If you got one bar, you can be phenomenal and absolutely transform someone else's life as well as your own.
Yes, yes, I definitely see that. I want to say a quick good morning to all of our people in the chat. I see we have, yes, sir. We have Bobby. So we have Bobby. We have let's see, Bobby Jackson. I see Mr. Wall Street. Mr. Wall Street, good morning. Teresa, good morning. Coach B, good morning. Thank you so much, guys. If you're just tuning in, put some flames in the chat and also let us know where you're listening in from. And comment. Let me know what you think about Shan's background. How many coaches? I'm curious. How many coaches do we have on the call today? If you're a coach, put a number one in the comments. If you're a coach, let's put a number one. Let's see. I know we have a few of our coaches. Mr. Jackson is on there. We have Coach B. Mr. Wall Street, what do you do, sir? If you don't mind, put it in the chat. What do you do? And we have some other people from Facebook. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Where are you listening in from? Just put it in the chat. But while we're waiting for that, Shan, I'm super excited You know, the new year is around the corner, and we had a phenomenal meeting last night on
We
Clubhouse
did.
talking about, you know, the state of things. And I remember you saying a few things, maybe, was it 2 years ago? Must have been about 2 years ago, talking
Hmm.
about the state of the economy and just the psychology of the people, the psychology of the people. And yeah, some very, very interesting stuff, man. And it's very interesting to see it come to fruition. It's very interesting
Yeah,
to see it come to fruition.
it is. It is. We talked about mindset, we talked about skill set, right? And we talked about the immediacy of the moment. So let me tell you something about the immediacy of the moment. You can't wait, guys. Like, you can't wait. You can't wait. You got to collapse time as fast as possible. And someone asked me, like, Sean, how do you collapse time? How do you move faster than fast? Like, how can you get all of the things that you're looking for as fast as you can possibly get them and move forward in your business? And one thing I'm gonna say to everybody, because you guys know, like, I went to school. I took the long route, right? I went to school. I'm still in college, right? I'm still in college. I'm in a double doctorate, have two master's degrees. So I took the long route, but I took the long route so that you could take the short route. Write that down. I took the long route so that you could take the short route. So I'm a strong proponent of executive education. I am a strong advocate. I speak in schools. I'm a strong advocate for executive education. Go to school, get the education. However, however, you got to do it fast, guys. You got to collapse time. So I'll always tell someone, go to school, get the education. Go to school, get the education. Go to the training school and get the skill set. However, if you want to collapse time, like really like fast forward the process, come to Brandon Like a Leader Academy and get that executive education. Like, right, get that education, get that entrepreneur education, and learn how to become a CEO, run your business from anywhere in the world in real time. So in school, they give you a lot of things to read and a lot of programs to do. A lot of programs, there's a lot of writing. Over here, all we're going to give you is what works. That's it. No theory. I am the case study. We are the case study. You literally get the same thing that you would get in a college that might take you 2 years, 4 years. Here, in the courses are 8 weeks. In 8 weeks, you can learn a skill set and a trade that you can apply immediately in the marketplace and take the ceiling off of your earning capacity. Right. So that's what I'm gonna say, right? You can go to school and do it the long way. I've done that. Or you can shortcut it, come here and get it in real time, and like turning years into months and months into weeks.
Yes, sir. And you know, it's so interesting, right? It's so interesting because I recently came across a couple articles. You know, I even if I'm from the Caribbean, I always stay up to date with things that are happening in the US. So I recently saw a couple of articles about people. It's almost like a sort of career awakening. Some people call
Mm,
it some people call it the great they call it the great resignation. The great resignation.
wow,
People
that's
are
rough.
people are sort of leaving their jobs to leverage their skills, leverage their knowledge. Um, but from what I heard, it has a lot to do with perhaps the treatment at the job, right? That maybe the conditions are not that safe, you know, different
Mm,
things go into it. So it's very interesting. And when you talk about the Branded Like a Leader Academy, I just want to let everybody know that this is what the academy is really about. It's about taking your knowledge, your skills, your expertise, and being able to charge a premium for that.
yes, sir.
Being able to charge a premium for that. And so, what kind of skills can people expect to gain from that academy?
Wow. We started with branding, right? We started with branding because you have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. You have to know your skill set and what you're bringing to the market. We teach to brand you and not what you do. So you can be a doctor, you can be a nurse, you can be a lawyer, you can be an accountant, you can be all of these things. But think of how many others there are like you who do the same thing. They do the same thing. They have the same skill set, they have the same trade, they have the same education. The way you differentiate yourself is you brand you and not what you do, because no one else has your DNA. No one else has your fingerprint. Your story is as unique as your DNA strand and your blueprint. So let your fingerprint become like your blueprint, where no one can compete with you on being the better you. There's a million coaches, especially now during COVID. There's a million coaches, but there's only one Shaan Rais, right? So I don't compete with people on coaching. You can't compete with me in being me. So you have to be authentic. There is capacities in leadership. One of the main capacities is authenticity. You want to be an authentic leader. So brand you and not what you do. That's number one. Number two, we taught coaching, not just any kind of coaching, but evidence-based coaching. I didn't read a book or, take a course to become a coach. I have a master's degree in it. All of my concentrations have been evidence-based coaching. So we know what we're doing. I actually wrote the book on it called Phenomenal Leader, Learning 31 Styles of Leadership in 31 Days, as well as executive coaching, for leadership development. So the branding, the coaching, and the consulting. So as a consultant, you can be flown all around the world, flown into organizations, one deep or with a team, and then it's your expertise. So this consulting is for people who have a high level of proficiency, whether it's in education or from their experiences. They can turn that into a specificity and charge a super premium price for that, super luxury price for that. Also, we just did closing. So high ticket sales, high end luxury sales, high end luxury closers. We call it hell closing, and that's what it is, because you charge the highest price possible and you get it because you know how to dial in the pain axis and turn up certain psychology restraints. You open the constraints on psychology so people are literally motivated to do what you're telling them to. So when it comes to your skill set, whatever it is that you're selling, whatever commodity, whatever market you're in, guys, it doesn't make a difference. If you're in auto sales, we'll help you to double X, triple X your sales process, no industry notwithstanding. And we're doing Speaking Like a Leader in February. So that's where you become the professional speaker, the public speaker. Everybody wants to put the mic in their hand. And that's a gap that a lot of people have: communication, executive communication, and being able to confidently find their voice in the marketplace. Huge gap. And that's the most effective. That's the secret to everything. As a coach, I speak. As a consultant, I speak. As a writer, I speak through the pen. You understand? So it's all about communication, effective and executive communication.
Yes, sir.
That's just for starters. We're going into the marketing piece. We're going to get the Marketing Like a Leader done. And we're going to, at the end of the year, beginning of 2023, we're going to do courses. And I'm going to show you how to automate it, where you can set it, let it, forget it, and never regret it.
Bars. Guys, listen, if you're just tuning in, put some more flames in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I see we have Jasmine. Jasmine, a phenomenal good morning to you. Right, a phenomenal good morning to you. Something
deep too.
Yeah. I was about to bring that up when we come from the break, because that looks super deep. So we're gonna touch on that when we come back. Yeah, when we come back. So anything. Right. So I noticed the difference. I heard the birds in your background. Background, man. It's normally my background, right?
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's normally your background. We're not over there now. We're not in the 758 right now. We're in the US of A, buddy. All right? Let's grow.
Just open up my window and let them come in. All right, guys, let's go to a break. See you soon. Put some flames in the chat.
Birds come in. We're not in Disney World, man. Let's go.
Let's go. Welcome back. This is Breakfast with the Brand. Put some flames in the chat. Let us know where you're listening in from. All right. So I think we're ready to roll. Ready to get a few of these comments, a few of these
Okay.
questions answered.
Yeah, let's hit some of these questions. Let's knock them out
Yeah,
the park, man.
definitely. Mr. B, can you bring up that comment made by Jasmine, please? Let's see what Jasmine said. All right, I think I can read it here. All right, there we go. So she says there was a time when you could pick one job and stick stick with it until you are retired, and that was considered success. That no longer exists. So these gems you are dropping are about survival.
Ooh, yeah, definitely. Thank you for that comment, Jasmine. It's definitely a fact. You know, as we go, as so we're doing an executive coaching tour in 2022, and we just started. I just came from seeing a phenomenal client, a mall Agabian, right? And what I can say is that everywhere, at every intersection, you see the fear on people's faces. That's what I'm gonna say. At every intersection, you see the fear on people's faces because you got to remember, like we are consistently moving. So if you got somewhere to go, you're hitting points, you're hitting checkpoints, and you're moving, you're pivoting, you're going somewhere. But the people who are there positioned to work and do service, they're not leaving. They're stationary. They have to stay there and remain there in order to pay their overhead, pay their bills. So as you meet someone, greet someone, you can speak with someone and have a connection real quick, but then you're off to the next spot. You're off to the next place. And as I'm leaving people, it's just a different energy in the air, guys. It's a different energy in the air and people wish they could leave too. That's the feeling. The feeling is what's going to happen next. The feeling is one of uncertainty and what's going to happen next. And I just want to say something, right? To the reason why it's so important to build your skill set. You want to have options. You want to have options. You want to be able to say, well, I want to live here or I want to do this. It's okay to go have a phenomenal job if that's your opinion and that's your, how do you say, your preference. So I know some rich people who still work a job and want to work a job. That's their preference. They may be in the service industry, but this is the beautiful thing about them. They have the freedom to make a decision and they can stay there or they can actually leave. If you don't have the option, that's a pretty tight position to be in. And that's where entrepreneurship can really free you from a lack of options. I see a question. Bring up Alan's question. If you can, Mr. B, bring that up.
All right. So Alan says, as a father, how can you determine when you're ready for the transformation if you have the technical skills necessary?
When he says as a father, I'm not really sure what that means. That might be a misprint or maybe a typo. I'm a father, right? And I determined that I was ready for the transformation immediately, and I had to learn the technical skills, right? So I began going live on Facebook during COVID. And I can remember when somebody had to tell me, somebody who was watching had to tell me to turn my camera around. They told me, they said, Shaan, we love what you're doing on the whiteboard, but it reads backwards. So I didn't have the technical skills. I had to learn the technical skills as I went on. The thing is, I'm not only a father, I'm a husband, right? So I have people that they are trusted into my care and protection. So when you become a father, when you become a husband, you don't have the luxury of waiting to get the technical skills. If you try to wait, what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to wait yourself into a place of procrastination because you're never going to be perfect, Alan. You're never going to be perfect. And if you're a perfectionist, what you're going to say is, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. And it becomes kind of like a stutter step situation where you're like, I still need to learn this. I I still need to learn that. What you need to do, especially in this climate, is move. As an entrepreneur, you get to learn as you go. It's a process of continuing education where you never stop learning. But at the same time, you never stop moving. Never stop moving. You'll learn the technical skills. It's like a bird. You gain your wings on the way down.
That was the perfect analogy. The perfect analogy right there. So Alan, I hope that gave you some more clarity right there. Guys, if you're just tuning in, put some flames in the chat. Also, let us know where you're listening in from. We're about to get into a few questions. If you have questions yourself, just put it in the chat and Mr. B will bring it up. All right, so we have a few questions there so that we want to get to. The first one is from Canada, actually, Janelle from Canada. So she says, "Hey Shaan, good morning and thank you for taking my question. What kind of advice would you give to someone who is just graduating from college and wants to start a business? I've always had the desire to go into entrepreneurship, but I recognize the benefit of education. So I'm getting the knowledge. However, I don't exactly have the experience. So I'm guess she's like caught between the two. Like, do I further my education? Do I go into entrepreneurship? So what kind of advice can she do both? Like, what would you say to her?"
I would say find someone who's done the work. See, what people fail to realize or remember, really, it's taught in history. There used to be an apprenticeship. There used to be such a thing as an apprenticeship. In business now, they call it an internship. And you also find the word mentorship. So when you work under someone who's done the work, when you learn under someone who's done the work, you become a skilled tradesman. If we had a blacksmith or a shoemaker, a cobbler in a town, then a father would make the money to pay the cobbler to teach their son how to become a cobbler. Same thing with the blacksmith. A blacksmith who might be like an ironsmith, right, would have an apprenticeship where they would take people in and let them learn under them, kind of like tutelage. So to Alan's point, as a father, we have to create the abundance economically to allow our children to either learn from us or learn from someone else who can give them the skills and the trades that we don't know. Right? This is why we send them away to college many a time, because we just work and we'll say, hey, just, my son needs, I want the next generation to be further advanced than myself. So we'll send them away to a college. But watch this. After they get out of college and they graduate, the job doesn't just throw them in the deep end. The job doesn't put them with the most expensive clients. What the job does is the job says, okay, we'll take you in. You don't really know what you're doing. You have the education, which gives you the parameters or the content. You know the content, but you don't know the context. So you're going to keep your hands in your pockets for 6 months, and you're going to follow Mr. Smith or Mr. Frederick. And Mr. Smith or Mr. Frederick is going to show you how to do this thing. Mr. Smith or Mr. Frederick is going to show you how to perform the task in the real world. That's called an internship or an apprenticeship. And that's why we do coaching, and that's why you need to align yourself with someone who's done the work. It's going to save you time and money in the long run. Because what happens is when you try to go it alone, you make a lot of mistakes. And you do things that you wouldn't have to do if you were just aligned with the right person. The right person could say, "No, don't go over there. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to invest in Facebook ads until you have an offer that works. Mm-hmm. You don't want to wait to go live until you have an email list, right? They're going to teach you ways to cut the learning curve, if that makes sense, right? You don't want to take so much time learning. So the first thing that I would say to you coming out of school is find yourself someone who's doing the work that you want to do. If you want to speak as an entrepreneur, align yourself with a speaker. If you want to coach as an entrepreneur, align yourself with a coach. If you want to write books, align yourself with an author. They'll show you. Success leaves clues. And pay for the apprenticeship. Pay for a good one. Don't do the dime a dozen stuff, because you'll need a dozen for the dimes.
Hold on, say that again. Say that again.
Don't do the dime a dozen, because you'll need a dozen dimes.
Wow. Okay.
You don't know how many people I know who come to me and say, I've worked with 5 coaches. I've had 10 courses.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they say they're almost burnt out by the time they get to me, and they're almost tapped out too. The money's gone, the time is gone, the passion is almost gone, because they said, I've been trying to do this for the past 5 years. I ain't had no success yet. I said, well, you're gonna get success here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny. Most people work with us after they've had like 3 to 5 coaches.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, after like 3 to 5 coaches, you know, they've been burnt before. They
Let me say one more thing. It just
go
came to me, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the difference between getting an education from Harvard, Princeton, and Yale, or getting an education at a small corner college with no website, that's run independently with no budget. There's a reason why those Ivy League schools cost so much, guys. There's a reason why they cost so much. It's not because they want to squeeze you out. It's not because you know, there's some big conspiracy. No, it's because of the level of proficiency and the level of acumen, the level of educational acumen that they have, and the experience. When you go to that school, you learn the difference between one of those schools and one of those corner schools in your community. I'll just be honest with you, because I've done both. I've done the technical school, I've done the communities, I've done the CUNY, I've seen what they do, and then I've also gone to the higher ups and the dispatch spots where you had to relocate. Like, there's places that I go to school where you can't even get there. You got to go online because it's so far away and the tuition is so high. But as soon as you get there, you realize that the education is different. The education is different. So you literally pay like you weigh, and you invest at the level you want to withdraw. You deposit at the level in which you want to withdraw from. So heavy, reap heavy.
That's right. And you know, also when it comes to closing as well, like I always tell people, the fastest way to sell high ticket is to buy high ticket.
Yeah.
That's the fastest way. That's the fastest way. But Shaan, we're about to go into another break in a couple seconds. Do you have anything else to say to the people before we sort of go off?
Tune in. Don't go anywhere. Get your pen ready. When we come back, it's a wrap.
On that note, let's go to a break. right, guys, welcome back. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brand. If you're enjoying the show this morning, put some flames in the chat. Quick shout out. I see we have some new people signing on. Good morning. Good morning to Jenny. Good morning to Jasmine, Teresa, Abigail. Good morning. Bobby
I
says,
see something. I'm sorry. I see
hold on,
something from Teresa. Can you hear me?
Teresa. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I can hear you.
Teresa said you get what you pay for, right? So I want to say something because sometimes when you see things, when you see statements or you see questions, you get answers. When you see questions or you see statements, you get answers. So I want to say this. If your results are not what you want them to be right now, what are you investing? What are you investing? I'm just going to be honest. Like, okay, so you can't go into real estate with a couple of dollars. You can't go into real estate with a couple of dollars. You can't expect to win in the stock market with a couple of dollars. Right? So, what are you doing? If what you're reaping is not what you want, if you're saying to yourself, I've been trying this for so long, but you're trying to hold on to your pennies and you're only producing penny results. Think about what you're investing, guys. You got to go heavy. You got to go heavy. That's why people say not even to get into the investing game until you're heavy and you can go heavy. Like for real, for real. Like I had to learn that. I had to understand that. Like you just called go hard or go home. In this space, if you want to become free and you want to be able to travel the world and do what you want to do at a super high level, then you got to invest at a super high level. And when I say invest, I don't just mean money because you can't buy success. Understand that. You cannot buy success. What you can buy, though, is apprenticeship from the right individual in the right situation, and then learn. Take the time to absorb the information and let it set in. This is why a bachelor's takes 4 years to get. It takes 4 years to get a bachelor's degree. Not one, not two. It takes time to learn. There's no microwave success. People say, okay, well, I've invested this. I want to wake up tomorrow a millionaire. Good luck with that. I've never seen it happen, though. When you find it, let me know what it is.
That is so true. And so funny, Shaan. I could remember giving away, like, let's say you give people like free courses. Just give it to
Yeah.
them. And
Yeah.
they cannot apply it.
Nope.
They can't. Even if I tell people all the time, even if I gave you the information, you would not be able to apply it.
Nope.
That
Not at all.
statement right there, you get what you pay for, is so deep on so many different levels. Even if you did it for free, and check this out, the people who pay the least always want the most.
Yeah. Because they understand the least.
Always want the most. Yeah, because when you pay for something, it's like you say, it's content, but it's definitely a different context. So
Yeah.
the way that I understand the information is way different from the way that maybe somebody else might understand it.
I'm sorry to go back. I'm sorry to go back to the educational circuit. I don't want to seem like I'm rallying against community college because I'm not. I'm really not. But I want you to understand this: when you're paying, I don't know, $16,000 for a degree, when you go in those schools, they're like, they used to have a thing called speed dating. They used to have a thing called speed dating where people would be sitting in rows, like they'd be sitting in a chair, like one chair here, one chair here, one chair here, one chair here. Let's say men are on one wall, one chair here, one chair here, one chair here, one chair here. And then the women would be able to sit down and talk with them for 15 minutes and then get up and go to the next one and speak to the next one for 15 minutes, get up and go to the next one and speak for 15 minutes. That's called speed dating, right? So that's kind of what was going on in the college. Like it was a hangout. When I went to school, it was a hangout inside of the inner cities. It was all about hanging out. It was all about who had the best shoes. It was all about who could fight the best, who had the best game. Like that's what it was about. It wasn't about education. Now, when you shift it, and you go from paying $16K for a degree to paying $65K for a degree, there's a mindset shift because your parents are like, hold on, I'm paying all this money. If you mess this up, you can't come home. If you mess this up, you can't come home. We're going so far in debt to get you an education so you can change the trajectory of this family's legacy. If you mess this up, you can't come home. It's different than going to the corner, taking the train to the corner to go to school and saying, oh, well, if I don't do good, I'll just go home. Oh, well, if it doesn't work out, then I'll just pick up a basketball. Like, oh, well, if it doesn't work out, then I'll just go home and stay in my mother's garage. It's different. You got to understand the stakes, guys. What are your stakes? What are you risking for your success? When the risk goes up, your attention goes up and your intention goes up. People are scared of risk. People are scared of risk. Jump into risk. Jump into risk. If you're inside of a 2-foot pool, if you don't know how to swim and you're inside of a 2-foot pool, how likely are you to learn how to swim? You just stand up. There's no risk. You just stand up. Like, I don't have to learn how to swim. I'm going to stand up. Why would you learn how to swim? But if I take you down to the 14-foot pool and push you in, you can't stand up. You got to learn how to swim.
Very, very true. Mr. B, can you bring up Teresa's next question? Good morning. I see we have new people on. I see we have Charmaine. Charmaine, good morning. Good morning to you. Welcome, welcome. So Teresa says, why is it that most people don't value material because it's free?
Same thing I just said, Teresa. There's no risk involved. There's no risk involved. What do they say? They say, well, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll get to it tomorrow. COVID, as bad as it was, they got a new strain too. It's almost like a rap record, like a rap group. You know what I mean? Like COVID-19 is like a rap group, like the Wu-Tang Clan. They put out a new record. They put out a new the new release is Omicron, right? That was a serious situation because what it did was it wasn't free. There was risk. There was risk involved. It was life and death. That's a pretty high risk. So people who became somebody in that time went super hard because the risk was up. The risk goes up. And when material is free, there's no risk. You're not going to lose anything whether you do it or not. Simple.
Yeah.
Why study hard? Why stay awake for 24 hours? Why stay awake for 72 hours?
Yeah.
There's no risk.
There's no reason to, right? There's no risk, there's no reason. There's no risk, there's no reason.
That's
so,
right.
So Bobby, check out Bob. So Bobby said, I didn't learn to swim until I joined the Marine Corps. They pushed me in.
That's right. That's right. And they didn't help you out either. I can guarantee you they didn't help you out. If anything, you tried to get to the pool, they push your head. They use their feet to push your head back. Like, get back in there. You're not going nowhere. That's right. Jasmine said, put Jasmine up. COVID stay dropping new tracks. Yeah, man, the new release is Omicron, you know, and it's real. It's really real. The risk is real. So where is your investment? The risk is real. Let me tell you something else too. The rewards are real too. The rewards are real too, right? The risk is real. The rewards are real too. So the stakes are high. Your family's freedom is the stakes. Your family's freedom are the stakes. It's your choice. It's your choice. Get an executive education or get an entrepreneurial education. But you better get an education and you better do it fast.
That's right. All right. So we're going to take one more question before we go to our last break.
All right.
So this one is actually anonymous, right? So they say, hey, Shaan, how are you? I've been in the quality assurance space for relatively 4 years, and I've made tremendous progress. I've been able to secure promotion after promotion very quickly and have built up a fairly good network. My desire is to create a legacy for my boys, and to get that, and I get the feeling that a job will not cut it. What can I do to begin putting myself out there in a way that doesn't bring conflict at my workplace?
Nice, nice, nice. That doesn't bring conflict as in your workspace. So I would say go the course route. Go the course route. You can do two things. In the quality assurance space, you can become a consultant for those who want to become. So you can literally speak. You can literally become a speaker for quality assurance and do college tours because colleges teach quality assurance. They need speakers, especially if you happen to be a minority, because it's a small market that is just now beginning to open up for more minority, more female led practitioners, right? So you can literally go on your own tour, begin to speak at colleges on behalf of the quality assurance field and your organization. That makes it look good. It's actually boosting the organization. And you're speaking to children, you're giving back. That's one way to do it while getting paid. Well, I'm going to give you three. Another way to do it is writing a book, doing the same thing, motivating people to get into the field because it's a high bar, right? It's a high bar. So you have an opportunity. And then number three, begin to network. This is what people don't understand. Your net worth is your network. So begin to really create strong alliances within your field. So one of the first things that I did, and I'll tell you, because I was an organizational consultant for a government organization in the state of New York. And what I did was I made strong alliances with the C-suite, the CEOs, the operating directors of every department. They knew my name. I shook hands. I made impressions. When I wrote my book, I gave books away. I signed it. I gave autographs away. I gave assessments from the industrial and organizational psychology background I have. I also gave free.
Oh, I think we might have lost Shaan there for a bit.
Okay, so when I left, I was able to come back to those same executives and get contracts. Let me say that again, just in case we dropped and you couldn't get it. When I left the organization, I was able to call the strong alliances that I had made and then come back to the organization as a speaker, as a consultant, and as an executive coach. That's a fact. And you will be able to as well. Create strong relationships, create strong alliances, and always give value. Always give more value than you're paid for.
That's right. In fact, I was just saying that the other day. Like when you close, you give more. You give. So there's two kinds of value, right? There's the cost, the price
That's
value,
right.
but then there's also something called the use value.
Mm,
The use value. So what may be an asset to me may be a liability to you. So when you sell something, you always want to make sure that that person receives more use value than the cash value that you're asking for,
that's right.
right? So
That's
somebody
right.
who lives near the sea, a jet ski to them has amazing use value, but somebody who lives in the snow, a jet ski has no use value, right? So that's what I would say. Mr. B, can we bring up Jasmine's comment, please? All right, so Jasmine said, you know, someone is dropping knowledge when it has multiple critical applications. You could easily apply that cost goes up, attention goes up, principle to healthcare. Thank you.
Goes up,
And some
attention
flames
goes
in there.
up.
Yeah.
You're
Meaning
very welcome.
they pay when they pay attention,
You're
right?
very welcome. Yes, man.
They pay attention when they pay, right?
Look,
So
look at the
definitely,
healthcare though. Yeah, look at
yeah,
the healthcare though. Look at the healthcare. The cost is death many times. Like with what's going on right now, the cost is life literally. So they apply critical listening, critical thinking, and critical attention skills to in that field. And you have to understand, like right now in this world, the way it is, your attention is absolutely critical. Your attention to detail. Your attention to detail and application is absolutely critical. And whether you think so or not, whether you think it's sweet or not, whether you think you're comfortable right now or not, people thought the same thing in 2019. It's absolutely critical. It is life and death.
yes, it is. And you know what? I heard not to just to sort of segue a little bit, right? I read something from Elon Musk. Everybody knows Elon Musk, right? I read something from Elon Musk, and they asked him about the artificial intelligence, the future of the workspace. And Elon Musk said this. He said a lot of jobs are going to be quote unquote useless.
Yeah.
Like from what I've seen, I heard that some McDonald's probably have like robots already making burgers and all sorts of things. Yeah. But then he said something that was so important and so critical. He said that if you're going to college right now, like if you get an education right now, two places you should look. You should either look in the engineering space, meaning you're building the AI, you're building the robots and all of that, or you have to look into the people space. Because the one thing that
I think he might be breaking up, guys, but what Elon Musk was saying was that you want to jump into the tech space, or
can you hear me now?
You want to move into the tech space or the people space. Go ahead. Can you continue?
Yes, sir, definitely. So either the tech space or the people space. So the people space is the soft skills. Soft skills like empathy, active listening. You already see where I'm going.
Sound like you're giving away the curriculum.
Exactly, active listening. And you know what? Another billionaire, Peter Thiel, he also said that the one thing that robots will not be able to replace is empathy. People to people skills, which takes us back to what? Coaching. All day. That's right. So I just wanted to slip that in. Coaching like a leader. Right. I just wanted to slip that in. So if the billionaires already know, like if you go to college right now, consider looking at people skills. Anything that has to do with people, like because the one thing they cannot recreate is the emotion, right? The emotion, the feeling, the soft skills. Apart from that, everything else is replaceable. And your ability to make yourself irreplaceable, whether it be in your workplace or at your business, will be your ability and your skill when it comes to those qualities and those soft skills, like empathy, like active listening, all of the aspects that we teach at the Branded Like a Leader Academy when it comes to coaching.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me say something else too before you cut, Mr. B, if I can. You can pay $40K for a bachelor's degree taught by people who never built a business, and you'll learn the bullet points, but you won't learn how to build a business. You'll learn how to get a job. Or you could come over here and let us show you how to get money, build your own business, and serve people to the highest degree for a fraction of the cost. It's up to you. Either way, you got to get an education, executive or entrepreneurial. Or you can come here and get both. Let's grow.
All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back to Breakfast with the Brand. Right? If you've enjoyed the show this far, if you've enjoyed the commentary, if you've enjoyed the comments, if you've enjoyed the information, please put some flames in the chat. I know I've definitely enjoyed the background, Shaan.
Oh yeah.
It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you out of the office. That like it's nice to see you out of the office, brother. Yeah,
Thank you.
we
Thank you
actually have
very much.
yes. We have a question from Coach B. You wanna get that? Let's see, Mr. B. Can you bring it up? Okay. So Coach B, she says, how important is it to acquire city, state, or private contracts to building your brand?
Thank you for the question first. That's a technical question. It's also an industry specific question. It's industry specific or brand specific, right? So if you are a government contractor, if you're a government consultant, if you consult with organizations that are private, public, state government, then it's very important that you acquire those private contracts. However, if you're building a coaching business that is more entrepreneurial as opposed to institutional, right? Then I would say that it's not so important. It depends on what track you want to take. So think about tracks. Think about school, and then think about the healthcare track or the human resources track in a proficiency. So you might be taking psychology, and you might be taking clinical track, or you might be taking the AB track, right? When I say AB, that's adult behavioral. What I'm saying to you is it depends on your track. So if your ideal client is government organizations, then it's very important. However, if your concentration and your area of focus and your ideal client is more entrepreneurial, then it's not important at all. Not at all. And you can become a millionaire in either track. You can become a millionaire in either track. So it's completely independent upon your preference and your area of concentration. That's the answer. It's not industry specific, it's orientation specific. And it depends on your specific orientation whether it's going to be important to your brand to acquire city, state, or private contracts. That's completely up to you. I've worked with both. So I've secured government contracts, I've secured public private contracts with organizations, and I've also secured contracts or coaching agreements for years at a time with individuals who wanted to become entrepreneurs, and exponentially grown my business by multiple six figures and sometimes even seven. So it's completely independent upon the individual and what their preference is. But thank you so much for the question. I think it adds a lot of diversity to the conversation.
Yes, it certainly does. That was actually a great question. Very technical, very specific. Right, guys? So you ask the right questions, you get the right answers, right? You get the right answers. So let's see. Shaan, we're gonna be wrapping up very soon, but tell us about your experience, what really drove you to
I
want
think
to
Bobby got a
experience life.
question. Bring Bobby's question up real quick. Yeah, Bobby put a question in there. I want you to get it.
All right, Mr. B, let's pull that up. Okay, so Bobby says, understanding your orientation is important. Wow, understanding your orientation is important. Would we learn that inside your programs offered there?
Definitely. So when we move in, and I taught it actually, Bobby, if you go back and you look at Branded Like a Leader, as well as Coaching Like a Leader. Not sure if you caught everything inside of those courses, but in both of those courses, I spoke to having your paperwork straight. I just spoke to networking with your net worth, knowing who you're speaking to, knowing the importance of speaking to that ideal client and focusing on securing those contracts with either organizations. Oh, I don't know if you took the consulting like a leader, because consulting is where we speak to the organizations and organizational consulting at the top level, right? So there's 3 different tracks within consulting like a leader. There's the entrepreneur, there's the individual or the more private, but then there's the organizational. So on the 3rd track, I spoke to organizational development, and that's where you're going to get that information, where I speak to doing the work with inside of the organizations and having those high numbers. Yeah, high numbers. So let me say this too: the more proficient, the more technical, the more private, the more high level your paperwork, your deliverable for the organization, the higher your number. Those are a lot of times are the differences between a $4,000 contract, a $40,000 contract, or a $400,000 contract, or even
Most
more.
definitely. And before we sort of wrap up, let's speak a little bit about the call tomorrow evening, leadership
Okay.
leverage community at 7.
Yes.
Let's give the people a little taste. Like what can we expect to speak about tomorrow? What are we really looking at?
Okay, so we're closing in on we're coming close to the end of the year, guys, and what I want to do is I want to help you to build your mindset and skill set to where you can build your business for the next level. So we're going to go into a lot of different things. What I really want to help you to do is I want you to be able to do the organizational development piece. I want you to be able to free yourself. I want you to be able to make as much money as you want from wherever you want, as safely as possible for yourself and your children and your family and your legacy, right? So one thing that we're going to talk about is setting yourself up now for success in 2022. Deuce, deuce, no excuse. Deuce, deuce, no excuse. Setting yourself up right now for massive, massive success in 2022. Very important, super important. And one thing that's absolutely mission critical is having a vivid vision. Having a vivid vision. So I'm going to be showing you literally how to create a vivid vision for yourself and for your business. Walking into 2022, do not miss it. It's community oriented, which means we will all be on the screen. It's a Zoom call. You will be able to interact with not only myself, but the entire community and ask questions and get those questions answered. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the morning. I hope you enjoyed the different scenery. Let's grow.